That could be you in the crowd. Coming up this weekend, that's Camerata Nova from Alive Volume 1. I played you one called Kingsbridge, anonymous track. And I played you Camerata Nova because I have in the studio with me music director, early music specialist, counter-tenor Ross Brownlee. He's also a teacher at Westgate Mennonite Collegiate. He teaches trombone, so he wears many hats. And Ross is here to chat this morning about the upcoming show this weekend. Good morning, Ross.
Good morning to you, Michael.
Pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. I mean, I chatted with your dad not too long ago, and now I've got you. I wonder which Brownlee's going to be next. But we're not here to chat about family stuff. We're here to talk about Camerata Nova.
That's right.
How long have you been involved with Camerata Nova for?
I started with Camerata Nova. My dear friend Andrew Balfour, we've known each other since I think I was 6 and he was 7, and we were in a men and boys choir. So I've known him for a long time, and as I was doing part of my music studies, I was away in Montreal. Andrew started the choir 19 years ago, and when I got back to Winnipeg, this is my 10th year having been back in Winnipeg since being in Montreal, I immediately joined, and actually Camerata Nova was a bit of a lifeline to me, because it's weird when you move cities. Not everything is in place when you first establish. So Camerata Nova was my first big music group, and a real pleasure. And I started singing counter-tenor in the group when I returned, and slowly morphed and started doing a little bit of directing over the years.
So this counter-tenor, you don't have your main background is trombone, correct?
Well,
so where did you learn to sing counter-tenor?
Well, in the men and boys choir, because and I think there are actually more people that could be countertenors if they knew it even existed. So it's a very natural and easy thing for me. Truth be told, when I'm not directing, I have a co-director, Michael McKay, and I are sharing the directing of this upcoming concert. When Michael is directing, I will be singing, but it will be tenor, not countertenor. But I'm actually, countertenor is my easiest, most natural range, I think.
Not baritone, huh?
No, that's too low.
I know, I'm just joking. That would be a stretch.
Yeah, you can hear that.
So let's talk about the coming concert. Now, this is a tradition for Camerata Nova where you do a free concert every Christmas, and it's something, I guess, you giving back to the city, for thanking them for supporting you guys and coming out to all the paid gigs, and this is a way of giving back to them. Almost a celebration of music and the kind of music you do, which is very unique. It's
exactly the way it turns out. And this is Sandy Millet's the chair of the board, and Andrew and the people, long before I came back, had this really wonderful Christmas concert tradition that was free, and it used to be at the Ledge, actually, so truly community. Like that is the People's Building, and they used to do it in the rotunda there under the dome. And it morphed over the years. It became too small in there, in fact, and there is a real joy at this concert. I have to confess, it's infectious. I like to think that the music is great. It's a little bit unique. And by the very fact that we have many original commissions and arrangements that are only heard by Camerata Nova because they were written for us. That's kind of cool. But just there's this lovely, I feel like it really sets off this idea of Christmas. If there's going to be joy and if there's going to be goodwill and so on, which I think we like to incorporate into the season, apart from the glitz and the shopping mall and
the
all
real
of
heart
that.
of what it's about.
I believe it is. And people come with that. And Winnipeg Harvest is a main deal. I know every year we ask for more bins, and every year there's piles of food on the floor. So I think the people of Winnipeg kind of get this, and they come out. There's a joyful event. Everybody sings. We don't leave it just to the choir. It's a really important. In fact, this year we're doing an experiment. We are going to have a cappella sing-alongs, and this is, I think, a first, and I believe it will be really rousing and quite heartfelt, because there will be no accompaniment, and we're going to actually coach people, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited
Always
about it.
A wild affair.
I know, slightly nervous too, as the guy who's got to turn around and direct, and but I believe if you've ever been in a large room, like in some kind of a service, and there's an accompaniment, and then on a verse the accompaniment stops, I've always noted, since being a young kid in the men and boys choir, the audience or the congregation always sings louder when there's no accompaniment. They want to fill in the holes. And so we're sort of experimenting with this. I believe it's going to be quite moving.
Well, you mentioned that you're going to be performing some works that are written by Andrew Balfour. And some of the. Why don't we have a quick listen to one of the works right now? We're going to listen to, what have I got lined up? I should put in the right. There we go. You can hear the CD thing coming up. I'm going to put in the right one. We're going to play a work by Andrew Balfour. I'm in the studio now with Ross Brownlee, who's music director, early music specialist, and performer in Camerata Nova. So let's have a listen to one that Andrew Balfour wrote himself, and it's called the Coventry Carol. It's a work called The Coventry Carol. It's a 15th century English traditional arranged by Andrew Balfour of Camerata Nova. And I was just saying to Ross, who's in the studio, that if Andrew wrote that, he'd be a very rich man. But he arranged it. So I'm in the studio with Ross Brownlee from Camerata Nova, and we are discussing their upcoming concert. And that's one of the pieces they'll be doing. Ross, why don't we just chat a little bit more, give the audience a bit of an idea more. Let's get in depth a little bit about what they're going to hear this weekend.
Great. Well, we called the concert Ghosts of Christmas Past, and that is because over the years we have commissioned over 40 different arrangements or original compositions to keep. Music directors are always looking for something new and fresh. I mean, there's this limited body of Christmas carols or holiday carols, however you wish to look at it, and it kind of tends to be a lot of the same old. So we're always looking for something new and interesting.
So are we, trying to play stuff new and interesting.
It really is a challenge. So Andrew kind of started this. Andrew Balfour, the artistic director, started writing pieces and then started arranging. And that one that you just heard, the lovely and haunting arrangement of the Coventry Carol, is one that has been accumulated over the years. About 6 years ago, I started a Christmas program, and we thought, well, wait a minute. Let's take a Christmas carol, and I think the very first one was the Huron Carol, the wonderful Canadian carol, and we asked 3 different local Winnipeg composers to make an arrangement of it. So that was kind of fun. We got 3 completely different styles and takes on the same carol, and it became, well, the audience was really curious because they'd see the same piece come up, but yet they were totally different. So it became a tradition, and we now have 6 years of 3 arrangements of the same carol, plus the other original compositions which have come about. So it's quite a body of work. Next year is our 20th anniversary. We're doing a major concert with early music ensemble. We're doing the Pretorius Project, which is a revival of a show about 8 years ago that we wanted to do for our 20th anniversary. And we thought, well, this year, because we can't do all these Christmas pieces next year, let's bring in, and we actually polled our singers and looked at previous works, and everything that we are doing this upcoming weekend has been an absolute highlight and favorite for us over the past 19 years.
It's like the greatest hits of Christmas.
It's our greatest hits. That's right. And we're just calling it Ghosts instead, because we are quirky. So, and it is. There is some gorgeous music, and it spans. We're doing fantastic Renaissance polyphonic motets. We're doing a wonderful antiphonal, 2 choirs side by side, Hodie Christus Natus Est. We have some Spanish music. A couple of years ago, we did an amazing early American concert, and we're doing a mini suite from that to feature like this music from New England in the 18th century, early 19th century. Super exciting, totally different. So we're kind of all over the map, and then we're featuring Michael McKay's blockbuster pieces, Dan Weeb, and a fantastic arranger who's doing a lot of work with the WSO right now. He's been one of our major contributors. Sid Rabinovich has a piece on this program, several of Andrew's. So it's really nice. We're really featuring Winnipeg talent, and some of the roots of our group from the Renaissance right up to right now.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And, so I guess even if you don't celebrate Christmas or maybe not necessarily a fan of quote-unquote Christmas music, this is a really broad appeal, as you say, going back to, music of Spain from many, hundreds of years ago, music from England, contemporary composers like Sid Rabinovich and Andrew Balfour. It's a really wide variety of music. I guess, even though it's called Ghosts of Christmas Past, it's really a celebration of choral music, as all your performances are.
We try, and we invite everybody to come. It is it's certainly not a religious event. It is a concert, and we just want to celebrate great music, and that is for everybody who loves music. So come on out. And as I was saying earlier, we're really excited about having the audience sing with us as well. So we're going to have this a cappella massive sing-along, and I think that's something that people who have been to the shows before look forward to. I've heard you could have half the show be sing-along, and we love it. Come and join us. It's such a treat to sing with Camerata, and that's great. Perfect. Come. And so, yes, we want something for
even
everyone.
if you don't sing, you can pretend you're singing. Even if
Oh, yes. And we'll be giving you coaching. Guiding with Camerata Nova.
There you go, free coaching by some of the greatest Winnipeg singer. That's awesome. So before we wrap things up, I'm going to play a work from one of your CDs, but also let's just touch briefly upon the fact that you're going to be at the New Music Festival coming up. And that'll be part of your 20th anniversary in a sense, because it is next year.
It is, and it is such an exciting show, and my colleague Mel Braun will be conducting the group in this particular one. I am intensely excited by this concert. There are two major works. Andrew Balfour, again, has been commissioned to write. He's writing an Aboriginal piece. He said he's very proud of it, and it's one of his most intense works yet. And it's a story of an Aboriginal living the life in Winnipeg, and I think passing between an old life as it was before the urban center was here and in a current urban environment. I wish Andrew were here to make sure I had that correct.
I'm sure we'll have him in the future.
And you should too. He's got, when he writes, it isn't just flippant. He really puts a lot of thought into it. And the other piece that is just brilliant, and I encourage you to look into this, there is a group based out of New York City with the fascinating name of Roomful of Teeth. This is an amazing vocal ensemble, and one of their singers, whose name escapes me at the moment, wrote a magnificent 5-movement work called Partita, and it utilizes all these crazy vocal techniques and uses Renaissance harmony and brand new modern harmony. This thing is amazing. They also use Inuit throat singing technique, yawing, like this full forward sound that's just amazing to do. And they will be performing this Partita by Roomful of Teeth, also on the New Music Festival. It is the only classical piece that won a Grammy last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And to have it here in Winnipeg, and its composer is actually coming in for 2 sessions from New York to work with us to prepare the singers for the extended techniques. So it's pretty exciting that we're doing these very cutting edge works, and not only local, but here this is a really major and exciting American work as well that's coming in.
So that's part of the New Music Festival in February, I believe, with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra.
The choral night.
So, but in the meantime, this weekend they are performing Saturday and Sunday. Camerata Nova will be performing, and my guest in the studio has been Ross Brownlee, who is one of the music directors and performers and teachers at Westgate Mennonite Collegiate. Trombone. You won't hear trombone this weekend.
All the band, actually.
All the band. He teaches all the
6 different bands, jazz and concert band.
Wow.
I'm all over the map.
Okay, well, let's try to keep track of that one of these days. Ross, thank you very much for coming in. It's been a pleasure to have you in the studio, and sounds like a rousing show this weekend.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Do you want to introduce this last piece that we're going to have listen to?
I'd love to. We were talking about some of the Spanish repertoire, and we have a couple. What you're going to hear is this lovely kind of playful piece using nonsense words. It's called El Din Din Din, and it's by Michael Fletcher.